to want what you need. The stars align without asking first. You're everything I wanted, a blessing and a curse. The first time I didn't realize, second time you fed me lies. I tried to run but I didn't get far. I was trying to run.
Hello. Oh no. I don't know what's gone on here. We're missing an Aidan and a Sean.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh,
Technical difficulties. Hang on.
holy shit.
Can you see it? Oh, there we go. We're back, I think. No, they're frozen.
Oh, God.
Oh no!
Right, you're on the screen, but you're frozen for some reason. So,
How weird!
Oh, yeah, we are frozen.
oh no. Anyway, welcome back to the Pretend Pundits episode 21. I don't know what's going on with the cameras at the minute. Oh dear. We've never experienced these technical difficulties like this.
No, we haven't.
What do we do?
I don't know.
Oh, there you go. You're back. You're back.
Are we back?
Are we sorted?
Well, hey. Anyway, technical difficulties.
Hello.
It would
Hi.
the life of a live streamer, eh? Yeah.
Jesus.
Welcome to the now fixed episode 21. Pretend
Yeah.
Pundits, Andy, Aidan, and Sean pretend to know about football again for another week. Hope everyone's doing well. Sean is probably on top of the world right now. We'll get him to admit that Arsenal are going to win the league soon. So when they bottle it, we can mock him.
No, not today.
How's your week been overall, gents?
Yeah. Same old, mate. Same old. Just fucking grinding away as always. Nothing
Yeah.
too exciting, mate.
Same again. Terry was 30 this week, so we went out and we had a calamitous affair with Italian Connection, booking a table for 12 for 8 rather than a table for 8 for 12. So that was nice.
Oh dear. Mate, Skill Shots, hello mate, welcome in. Ben, welcome in. Guys, if I could ask you very kindly to start off this stream by liking the video, see if we can get to 10 likes this week. That would be very nice. Nice round number.
Yeah.
We've got plenty to talk about today. As normal, then we've got our weekly review of the games that's happened. So the roundup of the weekend's Premier League action. We'll look back to midweek where we had the Champions League, Europa League. We don't look at the Conference League, you know that by now. And a couple of the main stories that's been circulating that we want to talk about a little bit more. Barcelona corruption, ? And the match of the day versus Gary Lineker scandal that's been going on. So let's get straight into it. Premier League review then. Aidan, for you, what game stands out this weekend?
Probably Bournemouth, Liverpool. To be honest, after they gave you boys a good hiding, they go and I don't even know what word to use for the performance against Bournemouth. But yeah, I'd probably say that's my standout one for this week.
Yeah. What about you, Sean?
The mighty Arsenal, mate.
The mighty Arsenal.
Trooping on.
Talk us through the game then, dude. We'll start off with Fulham Arsenal.
Oh, it's phenomenal. We started off. I thought Fulham would give us a bit of a test this week because they're
Same, yeah.
8th in the league. I think is their defensive mid Polinia. He was out, or Paulinia. He was out, and they just seemed to crumble. We could have scored 5 quite comfortably in the first half. They came out in the second half, gave us a bit of a run for our money, but we were playing some really silky, sexy football, which is exactly what you want when Man City won the day before and really put us under a bit of pressure.
Well, that's it. Yeah, Man City got a result in the late kickoff on Saturday against Crystal Palace. Only just, it has to be said, with a Haaland penalty. Yeah. So, yeah, when 3 points is 3 points, though, when you get that pressure put on, it's all down to you on the Sunday. Absolutely. Aidan, West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1. What did you make of the game, mate?
I mean, I'll take a point happily against West Ham. I was a bit dubious about going into the game. Obviously, you saw my prediction before the game started. Well, eventually when it posted, but yeah, I always knew it was going to be a tough one. I thought Danny Ings was going to give us a bit more of a game, but obviously Tyrone Mings, being the boy that he is, kept him in the back pocket. Didn't even have a shot on target, so that's always nice.
Yeah.
Penalty. Obviously, I've seen the highlights of the penalty. I think it's soft. I do think it's soft. I think Paqueta's just thrown himself to the ground, to be honest. He's felt Bailey's shirt brush against his back and he's just thrown himself into the ground. But it is what it is. It's always going to happen. But I'll take a point. It's better than a loss. I feel like we could have taken more chances. I feel like we probably should have brought Duran on earlier on, changed the game a little bit. But like I say, overall, can't complain with the performance. I think West Ham looked quite dangerous as well, to be fair. What is it you said? Ben Rama had 10 shots on his own.
10 shots, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, to be fair, coming away after that, then I think a point is quite nice. So, yeah, overall, I'm not too upset about the result, and I'm not obviously over the moon, but I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, you're starting to get into territory now where the teams at the bottom are really scrapping for it, because you say it's an easy result, but you've got to think with only 10 games, 11 games left for some, it's scrappy territory for teams at the bottom.
That's the problem.
Skills
It's like
says,
a dogfight now.
That's it. Skills says the Man U game stands out. Ben Ray saying the mighty Bournemouth, and Kirsty in the chat, not a football fan in the slightest, just showing a great friend some support. Excellent. Thank you very much for being here. It is much appreciated. So yeah, the Man U game, Skills, it did stand out for me for a 0-0. Quite a game, it has to be said. Casemiro getting a red card, which slightly unlucky for him because the intention wasn't really there, but in the rules of the game, it's by all means a red. I think the thing that pissed me off the most about it was you look back to the day before, exactly the same challenge by Danilo Pereira on João Felix, not even a yellow card given. The worst part about that is the on-field referee, which was Andre Mariner, he was the VAR in the Man United versus Southampton game today, and he was the one who decided that this one was a red card. So whether he was making up for his yesterday's mistakes, I don't know what's going on. He didn't give the penalty for the very obvious handball as well. There was another penalty shout. I don't know if you saw it, but Rashford went down in the box with about 12 minutes to go. There was contact there, but that for me would never be a penalty. Like Bazunu's knee catches his foot, doesn't it?
Did he get booked for simulation and thrown himself on the floor for that one?
He didn't, because it wasn't a dive. He did get caught, but he was never getting the ball, so it's not a penalty. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where you look back, was it Man City? Who was it that got a penalty? No, it was Arsenal, wasn't it? Got a penalty when the keeper comes out, totally misses the ball and wipes the player out.
Oh, yeah.
So you're never getting a penalty for it. There was contact, but for me, the handball was the clearest and obvious one. Both goalkeepers given extraordinary accounts of themselves in that game. Bazunu made a cracking save for Bruno's shot. Theo Walcott scuffed his chances. De Gea made a couple of good saves as well. 0-0 was very, very disappointing to take at home, but considering we was having 10 men for 60 minutes, can't complain all that much about it.
Good point for Southampton, really, as well, because all the other teams around them have won at the weekend, so keeps them in contention at least.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. You look down at the bottom of the table, you've got Everton down there, Bournemouth, Southampton. Wolves were the only ones down there that sort of didn't get a result today in the late kick-off, Newcastle Wolves. Leeds versus Brighton then, 2-2. Couple of good goals in that game. Everton must have been a fairly boring game. It was a goal after a minute and then nothing else. Tottenham getting a result against Forest, who are struggling as well. 3-1. And that's about it. Yeah, but let's talk a little bit more about Bournemouth-Liverpool then before we move on. What's going on? How can you rip Man United apart 7-0 and then lose to Bournemouth 1-0? Would you say the 7-0 was more of a cause of Liverpool's skill, or was it more of just Man United falling to pieces?
So I predicted this in our group chat just before, if you do remember, that I thought that Bournemouth would get a result this weekend.
Yeah.
And I think it's because their confidence would have been sky high against Man United. They've probably gone, we'll beat Bournemouth quite comfortably. Meanwhile, Bournemouth have gone, we played awful against Man City. We should have got something out of the Arsenal game. We got a point to prove here, and boy, did they prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think I don't know all that much about these sort of stats, but you have the XG stats, so expected goals.
Mhm.
Liverpool's XG was less than 3 against United, so it really just shows that it was more of Man United not doing the defensive work and Liverpool just taking advantage of every single chance they could get. So
whatever helps make you sleep at night, mate.
Well, they get a penalty to level the game. Salah puts it out for a throw-in virtually. Worst penalty I've seen in a long time. You bank on him to score them, right?
Yeah. That was miles wide.
I think he actually hits a kid in the face. I've watched it a couple of times. I'm trying to work out if he's hit that kid square in the face or whether somebody's deflected it and it's hit him in the face.
Oh no! Skills says Manu didn't show up. To be honest, I don't think that was the case. I think we was just getting into the game when the red card came. I think had we had 11 players on the pitch, we could have. I think we could have scored more, but we just allowed Southampton more room because we already had quite an empty midfield anyway. So it was really unfortunate. Time wasting as well, no card. The only time wasting I seem to remember is I can't remember who it was. There was a player that went down, on the Old Trafford pitch. It goes sort of down at an angle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There was a Southampton player about the 92nd minute, he went down, said he rolled his ankle, but he ran back up the hill and dived onto the pitch and went down. So that he knew that the game would stop. But the game wasn't changing at that point. We'd brought on Maguire and defensively changed the game. So we said, right, we're not going to win it. So we'll just try to not lose it, essentially, is what happened.
Yeah, just hold it.
And he brought on Maguire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Martinez was on a yellow card. So he thought if there's a last-ditch challenge to make, which Luke Shaw had one to make, and you need to take a yellow card, you need someone who's not got one already.
Yeah.
And who wanted Salah in your Prem Dream 11? That's a great point. I didn't vote for Salah. I'll take that one right now. Yeah, so that just about rounds up the Premier League. Then we'll take a look over the table as we normally do. Look at Arsenal's form, man. That's disgusting. 5 wins. That's what you want to be getting at this stage of the season. You want to keep that into the next few games as well. Man United with a game in hand on Tottenham, but in danger if they don't pick up a win in the next few games. Obviously, Casemiro is now suspended for 4 matches because that was his second red card in the last 3 Premier League games. One of them being against Crystal Palace and the other one being the maul-in at Liverpool. So he's not having a great time at the minute.
No.
Newcastle picking up a win, Tottenham picking up a win. So if they start picking up wins, I still think Liverpool are capable of picking up wins. We are in danger. So, yeah, our midfield is obliterated at the minute. Injuries galore. Sabitza's injured also now. So we're gonna have some struggles, I think.
Yeah.
A very clear split between Aston Villa and Palace of 8 points there. So I think from 12th below, that's where the danger zone is. Anyone from Palace to Southampton could go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And yeah, the magnificent trio, Brighton, Fulham and Brentford, 39, 39, 38. They're on level points with Chelsea now. Chelsea looking really good, to be honest.
It's mental.
Considering a couple of weeks ago, we couldn't imagine Graham Potter still being in the job, but he's gone and pulled out 2 league wins and gone through.
And a Champions League win.
Yeah, gone through to the last 8 of the Champions League. So
yeah.
Brighton have got 3 games in hand over Tottenham as well. That's mental. If they win all 3 of them, they'll take over Tottenham on goal difference.
I wonder how they've managed to get so many games in hand. I know they're still in the FA Cup, but that's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to my mate Jordan earlier. I couldn't work out why they got 3 games in hand over everybody either.
No, I don't know.
So it'll probably be a case of I know that one of Brentford's game in hand is against us because we was due to play them when we had the Carabao Cup final. But
Yeah.
Brighton must be the same. It must be because they're in the FA Cup. Their opponents at the time must be playing in the Carabao Cup. Must be something along them lines, right?
Maybe.
But yeah, Brighton falling off a little bit now. I mean, a loss, a win, and a draw in the last 3 games. Fulham, a draw, a loss. You know, they are falling off. Chelsea can keep up a run. Villa can get up a run. It starts to move.
We start
Absolutely.
climbing.
Yeah, how's your next 3 games looking? Does anyone know in the league? Because when I saw Casemiro was out for 4 games, I was a bit worried. But then I saw the games, and I was like, maybe it's only Newcastle to be worried about.
So we got Palace next, which they've not won in quite some time. I think that
10 games.
yeah, this is going to be the game where I know that they're going to be fired up for it. Every time we play Zaha, he wants to fight us. So I think we got them. Then we got Leeds, another one that likes to fight, and then try and wrap my brains on that one. Is it Liverpool?
Ooh, that'll be nice.
Leeds. Yeah, well, they're rubbish, aren't they? Yeah, Liverpool.
So our next game should have been Brighton at the weekend, but that's postponed because we're both in the FA Cup. So that's another game in hand that Brighton are going to have over Tottenham. Yeah, our next 3 league games then are Newcastle away, which is going to be tough. But then we've got Brentford and Everton at home and Forest away. So not too bad, a little run for us.
We've got Bournemouth at home, Chelsea away, and Leicester away. That's our next 3.
It's not bad.
And then after that, Nottingham, Newcastle, and Brentford. So not a bad run of games.
Depending on how Chelsea carry on, it could be okay, but they might be sort of back in form now.
Yeah, kind of hoping they're not.
But yeah, lovely. We'll see how that progresses. Then I'm really interested. Every single week we talk about this, I look at the bottom of the league, see the movements around. You'd think Bournemouth were dead set to get relegated, but almost getting a result against Arsenal and then beating Liverpool, you never know.
Yeah.
The first thing I look for after Arsenal, of course, is whether Richarlison has scored or not.
And that search doesn't take very long.
No.
Yeah, Skills, I know you're a Chelsea fan. He says they're coming through nicely. Absolutely, but I think we can't judge it on 3 games. They've had a poor 20 games. So
yeah,
they just need to see how they carry this on. If they somehow scrape, I can't see them winning the Champions League. Even if they get good draws that favour them and get to the final, they're going to be against a Munich or a Madrid or someone, or a Man City even. So and I don't think they're going to beat Man City in the final again. I don't think Pep would let that happen.
Chelsea should play Aubameyang more often.
You think?
Just for the bants. Yeah, definitely is absolutely shit. So play him as much as you need him to, Skills.
Yeah.
Right, a quick one look over the UCL and the Europa League results then. So we'll start off with our teams. Sean, what did you make of the game midweek?
Yeah, we played Sporting. They attacked us from very early on. It was 2-2 in the end. And in the end, we were playing Fabio Vieira as the furthest man forward against Sebastian Coates, who's like 6'5", ruined him. But we made 6 changes. A 2-2 draw in Europe away is not bad. It's all to play for in the Emirates. Away goals don't matter anymore, so nobody's going to be sitting behind the ball and just waiting for us to attack them all game. I used to hate it. I remember playing AC Milan in the Champions League once. Not me personally, I'm a terrible footballer. But we lost 4-0 against AC Milan, and in the return fixture, we went 3-0 up in the first half, and then in the second half, they just went down like sacks of shit every time.
Dark Arts.
But yeah, it was awful. But yeah, I'm so glad that they've removed the away goals thing now. But yeah, 2-2, I'd take that.
Yeah, I mean, considering Coates was on a yellow card quite early, do you think that Arsenal could have done more to get at him as a weak point?
Absolutely, yeah. I think Martinelli is very tricky. he is tenacious, and he probably should have gone at him a little bit more. But you learn.
Mhm.
He's not played many he's not played any Champions League games, but he's not played many European fixtures as it is, and that'll come with experience.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to need it certainly for next season. It's like
Mm.
Champions League is nailed on, so this is just a bit of a practice run, if you like, European football.
Yeah, we're going for it though. We'll go for it.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's everyone wants to win games. I know that there's a bit of a rumor that people say, "Oh, they're not going to take this game as seriously." They might rotate and not have their strongest squad, but they're going to be out there trying to win the game, no matter what. I think we can safely say that United have got 1 foot in the next round. 4-1, we take the Spain on Thursday, which I didn't expect at all, to be honest. I expected a bounce back.
No.
Ten Hag was on the sidelines when we scored the 4th. He was shouting at the players, "I want 3 more." So he'd obviously told the players, "You conceded 7, now go and fucking score 7." And I do like that mentality, but it's about application as well, to be honest. Our midfield is crumbled, like I said, so that's my biggest worry. But
I felt like he didn't rotate, almost like Ten Hag was saying, "Well, you guys lost 7-0. You guys go out and win this."
That's it.
Because he didn't rotate at all, did you?
It was the same starting lineup,
Yeah.
as played Liverpool. Correct.
Mhm.
A few other games to look out for if you're interested in Juventus, Union Berlin, who we said we'll probably keep an eye on. They're going away with a 3-3 aggregate score, so it'll be interesting to see what they can get. Jose Mourinho's Roma with a 2-0 aggregate going away to Sociedad. Leverkusen, Ferencváros, not bothered. Feyenoord, Shakhtar, who are just staples of European competition. And Sevilla, who've won the Europa League probably 20 times in the last 10 years somehow.
They're the ones to worry about.
Yeah, Sevilla love it. I mean, we knocked them out before on the route to a final, I think. I'm sure we've knocked them out once, but yeah, they're the Europa League specialists for sure. The lesser competition of the two, then, the Champions League. What did you make of the games this week? It saw Tottenham going out, trying to defend the 1-0 loss, as you called it. Chelsea was the surprise. That was a good game. I watched that game on Tuesday. Turning over a 1-0 defeat in the first leg to win 2-0, go through to the next round. Dortmund looked good for a goal, to be honest. I have to say, I think we was texting during the game. Sean, you was watching the game as well. What did you make?
I thought Chelsea were electric all the way through it. Sterling's goal was great. Havertz is starting to get more into the game. I think, did he score? Yeah, he missed the first penalty. Oh, he hit the post, didn't he? And then
pulled back from encroachment, wasn't it?
Yeah,
take it.
Yeah, we thought. I think we were texting midway through, and we thought that the keeper would come off his line, but most of the Chelsea players and the Dortmund players were inside the box at the time.
Literally.
So, but yeah, ice cold to put it in the same place again. I think if I was a keeper, I'd go the opposite way to the way he's just put it. But yeah, big balls to put it in the same place again.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a well-deserved win. I think it could have gone other way, but Dortmund. I said they looked good for a goal, but they just couldn't finish it, so that's unfortunate. Benfica cruising past Scott Parker's Club Brugge, 5-1 on the night, 7-1 on aggregate, so maybe they're ones to watch as well, who knows. The biggest potential one that is going to be spoken about a lot, or probably not even enough, I've not heard many people speak about it, is PSG out again. At an early stage again to Bayern Munich. I mean, they're not going out to a stinky team. Bayern Munich are, possibly favourites now after Man City to win it. But to put up no goals over 2 legs is ridiculous. I know Neymar was injured, right? But Mbappe, Messi, you've got all the strongest players. They piss the league every year. Why are they not winning the Champions League? The same as Man City, who look in a better position to win it.
I think PSG and Man City are exactly the same type of teams in the sense that, well, lesser to an extent with Man City, is that they buy individuals and then put them into a team rather than build a team that can play together. Messi, great player. Does he suit PSG's? I think he'd suit any team's play, but I don't think they've got enough of a good core foundation to allow him to do what he wants to do, and that's why they're not winning. How much money do you throw at it? They've spent what 10 years, 12 years trying to win the Champions League. They can't get past the quarters.
Can they throw? Can they throw any more money? That's the question. I mean,
what else do they improve?
Well, they had an incident where they was playing. I can't remember who it was even against, but they were losing in the league, and one of the directors came down. Was it the director came down and started shouting orders from the sideline?
Oh yeah.
So it's just an absolute mess. Like, it's.
Oh my god!
I put it down. They haven't got a good manager. I don't think they haven't had a good manager for a while. I think Tuchel was their last good manager.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what happens there. Mbappe's like the owner or something now, isn't he?
He's got some sort of shares or something in PSG, which is mad.
To get him to
he
renew
controls.
his contract.
He controls everything.
Yeah.
He controls transfers, who they approve as manager, coaching staff, who they sell as players. Mental.
But what happens when he leaves? Because he is going to leave, right? There's no chance he stays at PSG for a long time.
He has to. Yeah, he has to.
He'll leave whenever he fucking wants now. If Real Madrid come in and go, oh, we're going to offer you 50 million for Mbappe, he'll turn around and go, yeah.
Well,
I want to leave.
He signs the deal, he executes the deal, so he can leave for whatever he wants.
He can go with the fuck he wants to, like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go. Mental.
I have no words what to say on PSG. You see the squads that they produce and the players that they bring in. You just think they're just dangerous.
Yeah.
They're the first team that you say who's going to win the Champions League. I predict them to win the Champions League. I thought they got unlucky to get Bayern Munich in the first round, but tonight
I'd still pick them to turn over Bayern Munich.
I think where they got messed up was they had the home leg first, and I think the tie was won when Bayern Munich won 1-0 at Parc des Princes. I think you're not going to Bayern Munich and turning around a 1-0 defeat.
No.
I think it's a bit of complacency as well. When you're PSG and you piss the league every season, you're not ready for a Champions League game. You're full of stars, but you're playing farmers and plumbers and part-time teachers or whatever it is over in France.
It is a little bit closer in the league this year, though, isn't it? Let me just pull it up really quickly. So I say it's closer. Marseille are 8 points behind, but you look, they did lose the league a little while ago to
Lyon.
Lille,
was it?
Was it Lille? I think it was Lille.
Let me just have a look. Yeah, it was. I can't remember who was in charge at Lille at the time, but Pochettino. It was half a manager season for Pochettino, wasn't it? He came in and then they finished second. But before that, they're 20 points clear with 10 games to go. So it's sort of already won. But yeah, 8 points ahead now of Marseille. That's all they've got to play for now. Domestic cups, maybe. Coupe de France? No, they're not even in that.
That's for me, like, you look at that league and you just think, like, where is the decent teams in there?
Yeah.
We got Lyon sat at 10th. Like, it's just horseshit. Then you got PSG top of the league, clear by 11 points.
If you were Pep and you were thinking about leaving Man City because of all their corruption, like he said, he'll leave when they get docked or whatever.
Yeah.
PSG is an easy win, isn't it? Tick off another league title, easy.
Exactly, yeah.
You've got Messi there, possibly, because they're talking about him going back to Barcelona in the summer with, I don't know, monopoly money, whatever Barcelona have got. But you could do something instantaneously with PSG if you've got the right mentality and the right manager, I think.
Yeah.
But they don't choose the right manager. Who even is their manager at the moment?
That's a good question. What's his name?
Good question.
Tell you.
Christophe Galtier.
Who's that?
He was the manager at Nice before.
Oh, Oh, good. High caliber.
And Nice are one of them teams that they've got a little bit of money. They got an investment from the same guy who's bidding for Man United, Jim Radcliffe, and their consortium. You know, they've got the likes of Kasper Schmeichel there now, and
Ross Barkley,
Ross
Aaron
Barkley,
Ramsey.
picking up some players, trying to do something. It's not going too badly for them though. I mean, where are they now in the league? They're qualifying for Europe. Oh, they're 7th now, so they've fallen off this season.
7th.
But yeah, I think you say it's an easy win, but I don't think PSG are even bothered about the league anymore. Same as Man City. Like, who, apart from Man City fans, when Man City win the Prem, who actually cares?
They're not going to win the Prem.
No one gives a fuck, right? When Chelsea win the league, I'm fuming. Tottenham fans are fuming. When Arsenal win the league, Tottenham fans will be fuming.
Yeah.
When Liverpool won the league, I'm fucking fuming as a United fan. I hate it. I can't bear to see it. When Man City win the league, it's just like, what a shock. Who cares? On to next year.
Yeah. They've bought another title.
So it's just all about the Champions League for them now.
Yeah, they can't even manage that. If they can't do it now with Haaland, mate, then I don't know what they can do.
And it's not an easy win. Like, Pep hasn't managed to do that at City yet. So maybe if he can do it at City this year, then you might argue that he can do it at PSG.
I think he'd be able to do it at PSG. I reckon he'd do it there in 2 years.
Didn't he famously bottle the year that Chelsea won? He'd changed his midfield. He'd played Rodri in the central defensive role all season, and it had worked. And he'd gone, I'm going to try and make myself look a genius, change it up, and it fucked it.
Was it Rodri or was it Fernandinho?
Was it I thought it was Rodri. I can't remember.
Whoever's seen it at the time.
It was a big decision to drop him, and everybody's like, "What are you doing, you bald fraud?"
Yeah, like you're fucking giving him the title.
This is why Ten Hag is the best board manager in the Prem, because he doesn't make stupid changes like that. Anyway, coming up this week then in the Champions League, Liverpool's consolation trip out to Madrid on Wednesday, where they are going to try and overturn a 5-2. Not going to happen. Sorry, Liverpool fans. You can believe as much as you want. Porto against Inter Milan. Inter Milan take a 1-0 lead away to Portugal. Man City versus Leipzig at home. So the 20,000 fans, hopefully, that can fill up the ground, fill up the ground's lower tier, might be able to cheer them on to victory. I'd love to see a Leipzig turnaround. I would love to, because that is one card that I love to hold as a United fan. No Champions Leagues.
Yeah. Even I can have that as a Villa fan. Right.
I can't have that.
Tim Pot. Fucking Tim Pot.
Nottingham Forest fans
Where's
can
your
have it as well.
history?
Red Star Belgrade fans can have it also. But
Benfica. Fucking go on.
Never know. Next year, Arsenal fans, apart from Sean's about the only Arsenal fan that's now got a social media presence that I can actually bear, because some of them are just mental.
Yeah.
If you go onto AFTV, Robbie only ever talks about United. It's kind of crazy.
I can't stand Robbie. He only profits when they're losing, and it makes me sick.
So we'll go away from Europa League, just like Barcelona did this season. And talk about Barcelona. Barcelona paying refs. Sean, kick us off with this segment, mate. It came out, was it late midweek? Was it Thursday it came?
Yeah, Thursday. So there was rumblings of it the week before, that they had supposedly paid some referees some amount of money, but this week they were charged with it. Charged is very different to being found guilty, though. No different to Man City being charged with over 100 cases. As much as we'd like to hang, draw, and quarter them, they've not been found guilty yet in the same way that Barcelona haven't. But this is just domestically. Domestically, they've been found to have paid domestic referees. I think it's near on £7.5 million. Barcelona claim that it's to have impartial refereeing and access to certain reports. But that's a hell of a lot of money to pay one referee who's in charge of all the other referees. It's like paying off Mike Dean, no, not Mike Dean, Howard Webb currently, or Mike
Howard,
Riley just before him, who's head of the Referees Association in Spain, for a long period of time. I can't remember what years it was. 2000. I want to say it's 2001 to 2018. So it was a long period of time as well. If it's come about during a tax investigation report as well, so Barcelona haven't purposely announced this. The auditors have gone in because they spent an obscene amount of money again in the summer, despite claiming poverty. So now they've found out that they've paid £7.5 million to head honcho referee. So scary stuff. But I mean, how many decisions have we seen that Barcelona have had? Like, we've got the Galak graphic down there. Van Persie getting sent off after 0.7 seconds after kicking a ball away. The referee said it was a second yellow card.
Yeah,
he's in the new camp. 95,000 people screaming and shouting. 0.7 seconds. It's not enough time. Why? I don't understand it. So and Drogba is a disgrace.
Yeah. The thing is with Barcelona, they've become not so much a football club, but just an institution now. Where Barcelona as a brand is just. It's beyond me, and obviously I've got a sort of vested interest in Barcelona because of the summer Frenkie de Jong saga. And when you start hearing about what is actually going on at Barcelona, it's absolutely mental. And like you said, this has all come out completely by accident.
Yeah.
And they've always had that reputation, Barcelona, of having referees on their side. And if it comes out that it's actually true, that's crazy. In the grand scheme of it, it's not even that much money in relative terms to football. Like, what did you say it was? 7 million over 17 years?
Yeah. But I mean, that's to referees though, and referees obviously they don't get paid the same as what footballers do. I dare say that they're lucky to get 100 grand a year.
No, but I mean, relative to what Barcelona's income is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what I mean. Like 7 million is nothing.
It's so what would that equate to then? 400,000 a year to this referee?
Yeah.
Again, we can't really say much until there's more of an investigation. I think you said something along the lines that Real Madrid are back in this investigation, which
they are. Yeah. Of course they are.
What's the repercussions of this? Does this mean that they could potentially have titles taken away?
I mean, that's exactly what happened to Juventus, wasn't it? When Juventus were docked points, relegated, lost Scudettos. I think that, but quite easily. Imagine the greatest Barcelona team in history. What I'd say the 2009, 2010, probably the best team of all time. No longer having a league title to show for it.
Yeah, mental.
Yeah, just be underpinned by corruption. I mean, if it turns out, here's the thing, right? Where when we spoke about Man City, I said a fine wouldn't suffice because they've just got money that they can throw at this, right? But if Barcelona get fined, they haven't got money. They're in almost $1 billion debt.
Yeah, they're fucked.
They have to shave. What is it? They have to shave 170 million off their wage bill to comply with La Liga rules next year.
Yeah.
They still haven't paid. I think Busquets and De Jong are owed a lot of back pay and wages. As far as I'm aware, there's probably a lot more.
PK,
yeah, and they've sold 50% of their TV rights, so they're equivalent to what is our Manchester United TV on Sky. They've got one of them in Barcelona. Half the rights of them are gone. I think they've sold half the rights of the stadium. I don't know what's going on. I think they've just sold everything that they could. And they've still got no money. So this could cripple them. I think they've been saved by a lot of people who want to invest in a potential future. That was the other big thing. Their TV rights. They have sold 50% of their TV rights for the next 25 years.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because they've not signed a figure away. They've signed a percentage.
They're banking on the European Super League.
It has to be, right?
It's not going to happen, though.
Because if you sell 25 years worth of TV rights in a league that you're not going to play anymore, that's smart business. But yeah, if you join a Super League, then yeah, it doesn't matter at all, does it?
Well, I don't think you'll have to worry about the money from the TV rights when it comes to the Super League because they'll be taking them all around. I think you're absolutely right. This will come into the European Super League. That's why they're going to be pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
Paulina says, any news about City investigation? Not as yet. This, again, it's just going to take a long, long time. With the Barcelona stuff, it's probably going to take a long time as well. I say we don't see a result until the end of next year for both cases.
Yeah.
You have to make sure, especially in these high-profile cases, that you have all the time to get all the evidence. There's going to be top lawyers, solicitors on either side presenting these cases, and I don't know. I just feel like you say, either Barca will worm their way out of it, or they'll find some way of making this Super League happen.
I'd love to know what the crux of it is. Whether they've not paid tax, that's why it came up on a tax investigation on the payments to the referee. Whether they've physically turned up with a big bag of money, literally saying swag on it and saying, "Here you go, referee."
Yeah.
Popped down to Nationwide and took a withdrawal out.
Yeah.
I mean, we are surprised every single day with things like this, but just on the face of it, you can't see a legitimate explanation as to why you'd be paying the head of a referees association. Like, there may well be something, but I have my doubts.
What?
Yeah. They might be paying this guy, even though it is still corrupt, but not necessarily for decisions. They might be paying to say, "Can we get this referee?" So whether or not
that's still corruption, though, isn't it? That's still like,
oh yeah, it's still corruption, but it's not like, here's 400 grand this year, make sure you give us lots of penalties. It's, here's 400 grand to make sure that we get this bloke, even though the bloke will turn up to ref the game fairly. It's still dodgy, but it's not as dodgy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he's just been screaming out to the referees to fucking give them everything their way. £7 million, I won't be going, I can't have this referee. £7 million, I'll be saying, I want penalties, mate.
Yeah. And equally, why has the Referees Association never came out to say Barcelona are paying me this amount of money if it wasn't dodgy?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not dodgy. I'm just saying the circumstances around it might not be as extreme as we think. It's
yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Like I said, I don't want to say nothing ever surprises me, because things always do surprise me in football. They'll explain it away somehow. They'll present a case, just like Man City are going to do with theirs, you know.
Yeah.
If it turns out Man City are going and Barcelona are going, does that mean Pep's going to lose all his fucking titles that he's ever won with both of them?
That would be.
He'll have nothing apart from Bayern Munich.
I was going to say Bayern Munich would be shitting themselves afterwards, like just
I'm like, I swear to God, yeah, like don't come near us.
No, I think you have a very little chance of teams. I know it's only reputation based, but you've not got a lot of chance of German teams getting into this sort of mess, with the exception of maybe Leipzig because of their come up, if you like.
Yeah. They've had rapid success, haven't they?
Yeah, the way they did, that's an interesting story. If anyone hasn't heard about the story of RB Leipzig and their uprising, it's crazy. It's essentially the way that German clubs are run. They can't be more than 50% non-fan owned. And RB Leipzig and the Red Bull Group sort of circumvented the rules to get Leipzig up 5 divisions back to back. And everyone hates them for it. Like, there were stories of bulls' heads being thrown on the pitch at their games. Yeah,
Bulls' heads?
Bulls' heads, yeah. Like Red Bull.
Holy shit.
Yeah, honestly, it's great. I'll have to link you boys the YouTube video I watched, because the way that German clubs are run is, you used to see it all the time. Was it at one of the Arsenal games that the fans protested Bayern Munich the ticket prices, saying without football the fans are nothing, and they stayed outside the ground for the first 10 minutes or something. Yeah, I think German fans have got it good, and I think they run their clubs very efficiently. But yeah, I'll link that over. I'll see if we can get that tweeted out as well, because the Leipzig story is crazy.
Yeah, well,
be interested to see that.
On to the final story of tonight then. There's been a lot of discussion about this. And we're not political in any sense of the word, but it kind of is a political discussion and debate as to why Match of the Day didn't go ahead as normal this week and what was going on with Gary Lineker. So for anyone who doesn't know what happened, essentially Gary Lineker put out a tweet questioning the government's immigration policy. He made comparisons of the government to the Nazis, essentially, in World War II. And the BBC said, Gary, we don't like that. They asked him, I think, to delete his tweet.
Mhm.
They asked him to step down from presenting Match of the Day, to which he said no. He said, it's my personal Twitter, my personal views. So BBC said, right, just to let everyone know, Gary Lineker is refusing to step down. And he said, I'm not bothered. In retaliation to this, I think Ian Wright was the next one to come out and said, I'm not going to come on then either, if you're doing that to Gary.
Yeah.
Alan Shearer soon followed. Micah Richards said, I'm not due to present, but if I was, I wouldn't. Jermaine Genius said the same. Alex Scott said the same. The commentators said the same. So this backfired massively for the BBC.
Yeah.
I think the main point of all of this was whether or not we're not going to talk about what his standpoint was and what his views on policies from the government were, because we could go on for hours about how useless our government are.
Yeah.
But when the BBC go against they have an impartiality standpoint, BBC do, apparently.
Right.
So BBC allows anyone to have their own independent views, as long as it's made clear that their views are not those of the BBC's, but of that individual person only. So when you've got Lord Alan Sugar commenting and tweeting about whatever he liked politically, Andrew Neil also doing exactly the same thing on his personal Twitter. But when Gary Lineker does it, it's all of a sudden a problem. You don't have to agree with what Gary Lineker says, but you have to accept he has a right to say it.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, news came out just as we went live that they believe that this problem is going to be resolved between them within the next 24 hours. What's the resolution? BBC are going to admit that they've done wrong? What do you boys make of this? I'll go to you first, Sean.
Absolutely, I think that's the only way that they can bring him back. I think I said the other night in our group chat, everybody signs a social media policy contract at work. If you're at work, you can't talk bad or ill that would show your company in a bad light. The issue that Gary Lineker has is with the impartiality, but BBC, they're so outdated. We have to pay for TV licenses. I won't get into that because you'll start me off. But I hate paying £144 a year. Yeah, absolutely. They have to bring Gary Lineker back because everybody's blown up about it. How long does it go on for? Next week he's not going to turn up. The week after that, that 20 minutes yesterday was the worst match of the day I've ever seen. It was just
I didn't even watch it.
Yeah,
it was boring.
Was it?
I can't lie. Ever since they started making the highlights available on demand on Sky and on YouTube, I haven't watched Match of the Day in years. I don't care if Match of the Day never comes back, but there are people that do watch it and do like it. So I don't care what the program is, regardless. I don't care if it's Emmerdale, Coronation Street, Match of the Day, Homes Under the Hammer. That person, Gary Lineker, should have the right to say what he wants to as his own standpoint. You can't just shut someone down because they have a different opinion.
Yeah, no,
and
agreed.
I think the government somehow tried to get involved, and this has massively backfired on them. I think people were saying it wasn't because he wasn't impartial; it was because he wasn't partial to certain people.
Yeah. Alan Sugar has said far worse, and I mean, he even put a Photoshop picture of a man with a load of sunglasses in front of him, and did a bit of cultural appropriation. And yet, he didn't get sacked for that.
No,
he didn't get asked to stand down.
No, you're absolutely right, and it's just gone a bit too far. I think, like you said, I could go on for hours and hours about the pathetic excuse of a government we've got in this country, but I don't care. I don't watch people's political opinions on Twitter. I don't care what Gary Lineker's opinion on the immigration policy is, but he should have every single right to say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that unfolds. I can't think of any other cases like this, if I'm honest,
No.
in recent times.
Not that I can think of. It's
There are
very unique case, isn't it?
some people are comparing it to the thing that happened with Matt Letizia when Matt Letizia went on a rant about COVID being a hoax and stuff like that.
Yeah, he also went in on Anne Frank, and he was he had very, very different views. There's a lot of people that saying the same thing, but if you actually look at what Matt Letizia said, he absolutely should have gone. And ultimately as well, you watch Saturday Football on Sky with Matt Letizia, is it Charlie Nicholas or Charlie Nicholson? They were so boring. They brought nothing to the table. Ian Wright's right. He was so boring. Get him off there. Put some interesting people on there. As long as it's not Jermaine Genius.
Yeah, I was going to say Jermaine Genius was like, yeah, I'm not going to do match of the day either, and I imagine that some people probably celebrated that.
Yeah, I was there going, nobody asked you, Jermaine Genius. Shut up.
Right, and now I'm just waiting for Robbie Savage to stand down for BT Sport for some related reason, and then we'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, bless Robbie Savage, actually. There was a pretty wholesome moment on the BT Sports equivalent of Soccer Saturday when he saw on the video printer that his son scored his first senior goal for Forest Green Rovers, where he's currently on loan. It was in a 3-1 defeat, but it was still a great moment to see him. He was so made up. I remember when he made his debut for United in that Europa League game, and Savage was commentating. It took the shine off Zidane Iqbal making his debut as well a little bit because no one was speaking about him. But no, it's nice. It's nice to see that proud moment. As much as you don't like Robbie Savage, you've got to respect it.
Yeah, it was quite wholesome, wasn't it?
I love it. Yeah, Kirsty's going to go buy some Walker's crisps tomorrow in solidarity.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
I might.
And you've learnt a lot in the last hour. Well, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it and learnt a little bit about football. We only pretend to know what we talk about, so.
Any excuse to buy crisps.
Yeah.
That wraps us up for this week. Then, gents, any last thoughts to leave us on? Sean's normally got some sort of stat to leave us on.
The Trossard is the first player to get 3 assists in an away game in Premier League history today. And we've got 5 clean sheets in London derbies. So I know you guys give me a bit of a hard time about not saying that we're going to win the Premier League. But if next week we win and Man City lose, then we might get a bit excited.
Is that the one? Is it? Could next week be the one?
Well, if we'd go with 9 points with 10 games to go, I mean, we'd have to monumentally cock up.
I don't think we're going to get it next week because Man City are in the FA Cup against Burnley next week.
Yeah, you said.
Week after.
So the week after, we'll get it out of Sean. But I don't know. I only want Sean to say it so we can rip them when they lose it, but I don't think they're going to lose it. I can't see it.
No, I don't. I'll be shocked if Arsenal lose it.
But
yeah, we'll see.
No,
we'll see.
We'll see. Right, guys. Again, thank you very much for tuning in this week. As always, if you haven't done so already, please drop a little like on the video. Tell your friends about it as well if they like football. Come and get involved with the chat every Sunday. We have got another video in our Pretend 11 series coming out on Wednesday. That's a funny one. It's the most hated Premier League 11 of all time. So think of all the players that have played in the Prem down the years. Who did you hate the most? Come and watch the video on Wednesday when it releases at 5 o'clock and see if you agree with our choices. Give us a follow across our socials. If you head to the description of this video, you'll find our links in the link tree, TikTok, Insta, all the things. You know what to do. Give them a follow. See what we're up to on there. And we've got Facebook as well. We need to add our Facebook link to that, don't we?
Oh, yeah, we do.
We just started that up this week. So for you Facebook lovers out there, if you follow either of us individually, we've shared the page out, so you'll be able to find it from there. and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Guys.
Take it easy. Bye bye.